A new Rick and Morty mod just dropped in FNF, and while I was going to skip this one at first because I thought it was just going to be a joke mod, after actually playing through it, it's really good and deserves to be covered. Now, I'm sure most of you are familiar with the Rick and Morty TV show, Rick of course being the super genius slash alcoholic character that seems to sway between being something of a hero and a straight up full-blown villain. And then of course we have his grandson Morty, who's usually forced into going on all these crazy adventures that Rick comes up with. And if somehow you truly have never seen the show, you are probably familiar with the iconic Pickle Rick, which actually has a small appearance here in the mod. This version of Rick became so popular that it made its way into the real world in the form of costumes, plushies, and even body pillows. Now, what really caught my attention in this mod is the song titled Feel It, which is based off the episode of Rick and Morty titled Unity. In this episode, Rick loses a character called Unity, which was basically a hive mind-like character. Think of the Elder Brain from Baldur's Gate 3 to kind of get an idea. And funny enough, the reason that Unity leaves Rick isn't because she's afraid that she'll enslave him or try to change him, but the opposite. Even though Unity is a creature that can conquer somebody's mind, she felt that Rick was so strong-willed that he was actually changing her. And she basically didn't think that she could live with that. So she ends up abandoning him, leaving him a series of letters to read because she was too afraid to actually face him in person. After the breakup, Rick puts on a brave face so that his family wouldn't think that he was hurting, but then he goes to the garage, gets drunk, and sets up a machine that will end his life. Luckily, he passes out before the machine is able to basically disintegrate his head, and this is actually why we see him looking so sad in the mod here. This is one of those moments in the show that solidifies this idea in Rick's head at least, that he is not meant to be happy. And was actually a very sad moment in a show that was usually pretty funny. The next character we see in the mod is Jerry Smith, or more specifically Doofus Jerry, which is basically an alternate version of Jerry from a different dimension. If you watch the show, you know that Jerry is shown to be kind of a loser and a pushover at times, but this version is the polar opposite. This Jerry is cruel, greedy, and violent. In his universe, he conquered Earth and became the richest and most successful man there. And once he heard that there were other dimensions, he entertained the ideas of actually conquering the entire multiverse. This version of Jerry was definitely a monster, even being strong enough to defeat both Rick and Morty, which if you watch the show, you'll know is a pretty good feat. Now, the next song is actually based off a YouTube video by a YouTuber named Rickamaro, and it's basically a parody of Rick and Morty, as you can see here.
Here, shake the hand of a great man. It'll make you feel better. Ouch, Rick! Ha! I covered myself in thorns, Morty, you fucking idiot! I'm Prickle Rick, Morty! I'm Prickle Rick!
Now, obviously, I don't want to show you too much of this video because it's only 1 minute, so you'll probably be better off just going and watching it on their channel once you finish this video if you want to see more of it. Next, we have the Elastic Man song, and believe it or not, this one is actually based on an actual video game on Adult Swim. And just like you see here in the mod, you're basically able to stretch out the face to make it do a bunch of weird things. And if you go on YouTube, you'll find a ton of videos making Morty's face do a bunch of weird stuff, making him smell stuff, making him drink stuff, whatever the case may be. It basically just became kind of a meme over time. Lastly, we have Rick Prime, who basically just a evil version of Rick. In his backstory, he ends up abandoning his family and traveling to other dimensions in order to introduce the portal gun to other Ricks. One of those alternate versions of Rick ended up denying Rick Prime, saying that he wanted nothing to do with the portal gun, and in turn, Rick Prime killed his entire family. Now, there's a bit more to this story, but that basically sums it up in a nutshell. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out this video on the screen here, subscribe today to become a member of the Orseofkorse, and we'll see you tomorrow with another video. Peace, peace.